Hello and welcome in again to another edition of Musings from the Mountains, your podcast presented by WVSports.com. I'm Keenan Cummings, your managing editor slash host, and I'm joined by Jared. Jared, buddy, first game is in the books, and I wouldn't say it was unexpected. I wouldn't say it was flattering. I wouldn't say it was disappointing. West Virginia beat up on a team that it was superior to. And there wasn't any glaring mistakes. I think West Virginia did some positive things in this game. But you walked away there. I don't think you walk away feeling bad about this. You know this isn't a bad football team, but how good is this football team is the question that still kind of is hanging out there. And I don't think we're going to get the answer to that until they go to Stillwater. But West Virginia won, beat Eastern Kentucky 56-10. What stood out to you, Jared, on the surface when you just kind of break this thing down quickly?
Yeah, first and foremost, Keenan, you hit it right on the head. It's a week one opponent, an FCS opponent, a non-conference opponent. Everybody keeps saying this whole week, Eastern Kentucky, a historic, storied program, but, they're an FCS program. They're not that great, and West Virginia beat up on them. We really don't know what this means for West Virginia. I mean, they certainly showed out today. The run game was working, pass game was working. A lot of guys on defense were doing a good job, but we're really going to have to keep our eyes open for when they head to Stillwater, when they play Baylor, and see, to see really what this team is made up of.
I think the things that stuck out to me is, on the surface, West Virginia really took their foot off the gas offensively. But you look at some of the numbers, 56 points. That's the most a Neil Brown team scored. 624 yards, the most yards. 31 first downs, the most. You're noticing a theme here. Defensively, West Virginia allowed 135 yards, I believe it was, and 10 points on 2 drives. Other than that, I think it was 11 or 12 drives and 62 yards total. So they did what they needed to do. The run game, you mentioned that was clicking. You could tell first carry of the season was a 38-yard scamper by Letty Brown. First play, really. That's longer than any run West Virginia had last year. Longer than any run.
Yeah, believe me. I mean, I was at Kansas, the Kansas game last year when I believe Kennedy McCoy and Martell Petaway each rushed for about 70 yards. And, I was all hype, the run game's maybe going somewhere. I mean, obviously it didn't, but, I felt the same little bit of energy today watching Letty Brown and Alex Sinkfield go to work. And, hopefully for Jarrett Daigie's sake, that hopefully the run game keeps moving up as the season comes along.
Yeah, you mentioned the pair. The both of them had 123 yards. It's the first time since 2017 West Virginia's had 2 running backs. I mean, you look at some of these numbers, 10 rushes over 10-plus yards. They had 25 all of last year. 5 rushing touchdowns. They had 7 all of last year. So, yes, I understand this was an FCS team and a bad FCS team at that, but you can't argue that West Virginia did not look better in the run game. They were fit upright. They were moving people. There weren't any glaring missed assignments, at least from what I could see. Things look good. I was very, very, very impressed with true freshman center Zach Frazier. I think his wrestling background really helped him there, was able to get leverage and push people around. So impressed with him, impressed with the offensive line as a whole. How much of that is West Virginia? How much of that is how bad Eastern Kentucky is? That's what we're going to find out. But I don't know if this team could have ran for that many yards against Eastern Kentucky last year. They played teams that weren't very good at stopping the run, and they still couldn't run the ball. So it was a positive. I think the passing game was clicking and played. 11 true freshmen for West Virginia played. And overall, just a lot of positives. I think defensively to me, West Virginia pretty much overpowered them, as I mentioned, outside of those 2 drives, completely shut down the Colonels. But I liked a lot what I saw out of Tony Fields. He was all over the field. He had 10 tackles. I agree. Neil after the game about him, and he confirmed pretty much what I saw. A guy was always around the ball, making plays. Reminds me a lot of David Long, kind of that guy that just is always around the ball, making plays, and plays at a different speed really than the rest of the linebackers. positive day. I think the only negative takeaway for me was special teams. I felt like they left some things there. It didn't look as clean as you'd want it to. Of course, another missed chip shot field goals. That's not going to play well once games get hard. But you're nitpicking. Penalties, a missed field goal. It was a really good day for West Virginia on the football field. It was a really good day just to have football. A
Yeah.
lot of people thought this day would not come. It was here, and it was glorious. Yes, being inside the stadium with no fans was very, very weird, but it was great to get a sense of normalcy in my profession and your profession, our profession, just to be, covering a game again. I know obviously it was a little different for you today, but for me to be in the stadium, it was exciting, just going there, covering a game and seeing what West Virginia could do. And really, I mean, for the first game, I think you checked all the boxes.
Yeah, definitely. I really, for the first time in probably 6 months, I got to write a gamer, and I loved being able to do that again. And you know, exactly that. Just it's just so great to be able to turn the TV on and watch a football game again. And the not to get political or anything, but the country needs football as safe as we can make that. And so any little sense of normalcy bringing college football back is I'm definitely looking forward to these next couple weeks.
Yeah, that was a really impressive first half. I go back to it again. 9.5 yards per play for West Virginia, 42 points, the most points they've scored in a half since they shellacked East Carolina in 2017. So good things all around. We're going to find out a lot more, as we mentioned earlier. Going to Stillwater is not going to be easy. This is one of the only teams outside of possibly Oklahoma that most of the questions about them are answered. You know what kind of team this is going to be. You know what to expect. And no matter what, West Virginia is happier today than their Big 12 counterparts, Iowa State and Kansas State. But thank you for tuning in again. This has been another edition of Musings from the Mountains. We'll come back at you later this week. We got Neil Brown on Tuesday. So we'll come back with some reaction, what he has to say. And, it's a bye week, but we might even take your questions later this week and have a Q&A. So get them ready, send them to us, and we'll see you soon.